Welcome. I'm James Milan, and we are here with Marilyn Petitto Devaney, who is a Democratic candidate to join the Massachusetts Governor's Council as councillor or for re-election. Thank you for participating.
Thank you very much.
First, we will review the format of this interview. It will be a live-to-tape interview, and that means no edits once we begin. There was no pre-screening of questions, and answers will be limited quite strictly to 2 minutes each. We will start with a 1-minute opening statement from the candidate, and after the questions, we will conclude with a 1-minute closing statement. So, Mrs. Devaney, you have 1 minute for an opening statement.
Okay. Hello, I'm Marilyn Petitto Devaney, your Governor's Councillor. I have been honored to represent you for 15 years, and now I'm asking for your vote on September 9th so I can continue to work for you. I made a pledge to you that I would make major reforms on the Governor's Council, and I kept that promise. To name a few, I stopped the practice of councillors accepting contributions from the nominees they were voting on. When I found out that the parole board had all prosecutors, and it wasn't in compliance for 30 years, I changed it. For example, now we have a member who can identify inmates' learning problems and mental issues. I established the first transparent and public Governor's Council website. I have nominees and their witnesses sworn in at the hearings. I don't take travel money because you don't get paid to drive to work.
Thank you very much. We're actually going to start right in with the questions, but you will have a chance to elaborate on what you were saying, I think. The first question is, why are you running for councillor, and what prepares you to serve in this capacity?
I bring experience, and it takes experience to vet these nominees. I have no staff. I have no one working for me, so it's very important, and I meet with every nominee for all of the boards and commissions and clerk, magistrate, and judges. And it's very important now because there's many nominees. We have nominees 2 every week, and it's very important that you know how to vet and how you investigate and how you go out there and do the due diligence that's necessary. And I love what I do. I have enthusiasm for it, and it's such an important job. It's not something that you, right now at this particular time, to jump in and learn on the job. And when I vote, I remember who I'm supporting, who I'm representing, and it's an awesome responsibility because all these people that I vote on, and we only vote on people, not issues, not on laws or anything, they're going to affect someone, you or someone in your family. And I'm proud of, the work that I've done, and I think I'm very proud that I've been called the hardest working councillor, and that means a lot to me. It's very rewarding.
Thank you very much. Most people don't know a lot about the Massachusetts Governor's Council. So how would you describe the role and responsibility of the council, and why should Massachusetts residents be informed about the council's role and decision-making?
Well, the responsibilities of the Governor's Council is the checks and balances. I mean, we don't have a Senate president, we don't have a speaker, we don't have committees, we don't have a chair. We are directly representing the people of Massachusetts. And so when the governor brings a judge, your judge, clerk magistrate, parole board member, industrial accident board member, appellate tax board member, it's our responsibility to vote on those people. And if the council doesn't vote on those people with the majority, then they don't get appointed. But it's very important. I used to think everything should be elected, but I looked into it and I found out that let's just take Ohio and Michigan with their elected judges. And the candidates for judges were spending $6 to $12 million. That was 12 years ago. That's scary. I don't know what they're promising. And who should you give it to? You want to give it to the Senate? I mean, there could be a lot of trading for budget items for judges. And so there really isn't any other committee or commission that is focused on this. We don't vote on legislation. We don't vote on anything but people. And these people affect your lives. So it is a responsibility, and there should be a checks and balances. I mean, some states have just the governor appointing them. And I don't vote for political appointments. And I think I have the respect of the governor because I've told him that. So I really, I think it's something that's so misunderstood. I have begged the reporters to come from Boston to come to the meetings, but they don't. So they continually to write about how it used to be, it's a circus, it should be abolished, and they don't understand. And so they write about hearings without coming. So I have tried to even write letters, concise, short, civil, to explain, and they don't print it. So it's very hard. It's one-sided what people see. That's why I have a website inviting people to come.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
We have to move on. What are the biggest challenges facing the Governor's Council, and what priorities would you support to achieve or face those challenges?
Well, the challenges are to be sure that you're voting for the right people with the right qualities, the right experience, the demeanor, the temperament. That is always going to be a challenge. And right now, the biggest challenge is that we're having a lot of judges retiring because of the pay raise they got this past year. So it really takes experience to know what to look for, what to ask someone who's going to the Superior Court, the District Court, the Appeals Court, the highest court. That's all very important, to know what to look for in focus. Is this person the right fit for that particular court? Because you don't want someone that hasn't had any experience to go in the juvenile court. It's too sensitive, and you need someone that has had all the legal focus in juvenile court. It's all of those things. I don't have time to really get into all that, but it is, I'm very passionate about it to get the right people. And I think right now, more than ever, you need someone experienced because we are getting more and more nominees. I mean, I have an election September 9th, but I don't stop. This is my priority. Just came from the State House. It's full-time for me. And it's investigating and looking into the background of that person, and so that it's an important, and that's the challenge. It's a challenge to make sure that you are representing the constituents, not some political, person that wants this person coming through, whatever. We have to have the best, and that's what I look for in the best. And I've made historic votes on the SJC. I voted for the first African-American Chief Justice, first Jewish Chief Justice, the first openly gay, the first Asian, the first African-American woman. Not because of who they, what race or what gender, but they are outstanding.
Thank you.
Okay.
Can you please give us one example of how you think the Governor's Council possibly could have done more or better in the recent past?
Well, I think I am very proud of this council, and unfortunately, councils of yesteryear, we're getting blamed for those councils, and I think that the reporters who are reporting in the big newspapers, are kind of locked into that and haven't come and haven't heard us. So they're still reporting like we were the last. We have independent people. I am very pleased with this council. We had a big turnover. We had 4 new members 2 years ago and 2 the year before. So it's a nice mix. So, as one of the veterans with another councillor, I think it is a good mix. And everyone's independent. And even when we vote different ways, we're always respectful of each other, respectful of the people who come before us. And when I have to vote no, and it's really, it really is not something you jump for joy for, but it's the right thing. I do it respectfully, and I have it in writing, and the governor understands. And so really, I can't say enough about this council because it is important. And if people would come to the hearings and hear the questions that are asked, and everyone, all the councils do their due diligence and come in prepared. I mean, this is a far cry when I was elected 15 years ago. I'm really so proud to be there with them, really.
Well, thank you very much. And I can imagine that you will feel that you have already begun to answer this next question, but how do you respond to charges from critics that members of the Governor's Council pursue personal agendas or rubber stamp the governor's agenda rather than offering the thoughtful, valuable advice that they're there to do?
Well, I'm not a rubber stamp, and that's for sure. And I probably have voted maybe 10% in the 15 years, and I can justify every one of those votes. And I'm very proud of the people that I have voted for. And I think that, you know, as I said before, that they're not coming, they're not hearing, and so they'll take something that was quoted wrong that I said, and it's there, and so that's what your opponent can use or whatever. So there's a lot of misleading statements that are being made right now about the council, and it's not fair. It's not fair to me, and it's not fair to them, because I know I work hard, and I just don't understand. If you want to really write about the council, why don't you come and see us? You know, I mean, I have presided over the Chief Justice recently, Judge Gantz, and they weren't there. I couldn't believe it. I mean, the highest position in the judicial system, highest judge in Massachusetts. So I don't get it. And they misunderstand why we voted no on someone, and they twist it and turn it. But I know the person lied. I know he was arrogant, all of that. But it's all twisted because he was political, and he tried to buy his way in with $110,000 donations, all of that. But it's never said. It's always the negative. So I don't know how I can change that perception when I can't even get a letter printed in the paper to, you know, to explain anything. But it is a challenge. But as I said, I have a website, and it tells all of us, I have my cell phone. I'm very accessible, and so it tells when we're having these public hearings, and we welcome people to come, and we tell the boards and commissions that we vote on. And you click on, you see all that information.
We'll move on. What strategies, excuse me, would you use for working with others of opposing views, and what experience have you already had over your long tenure in doing so?
There's no strategy. I mean, I'm just honest, and I go in there, I'm ethical, and the people that I'm serving with are, and when we go in and have a hearing, and we vet the nominee, and then the next week we vote, because then we have to meet in an assembly with the governor, because we can't vote at a hearing. We don't have that authority. And so then when the roll call is called, so be it, and that's it. But we can walk out and be friends if we're on opposite sides, and that's what government is. That's what it should be. It doesn't always work that way, but I'll say that this council, it works, and I'm pretty proud of them.
Thank you. And what makes you the best candidate for this office at this time?
Well, I think my 15 years, the knowledge that I've had, and I think some of the reforms that I have made, the Lowell Sun endorsed me because, and I don't even represent Lowell anymore, and they endorsed me. My friend said, why does that matter? I says, it matters because I don't represent them, because they gerrymandered in the redistricting and they took it out. I said, but it tells me they still want me, even though I don't represent them. And they said, because of the transparency I brought, and I don't vote for political appointments, that means a lot, you know, and I'm accessible, and they know I work hard. This is my only job, and I give it my all, and I'm investigative, and people trust me now. So if I have a nominee, someone will call and tell me something, and I'll go out and investigate. I don't think you want to lose that, because I have that, you know, trusting that people know who I am, and I don't leave a stone unturned when I'm investigating every nominee.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. What criteria do you use in determining who's qualified to become a judge?
Well, first of all, as I said, it depends on what court they're going through. And if it's a juvenile court, I want to know that that person has all his or her legal profession has been geared for the juvenile court. It's not a consolation prize you give to someone, because I've seen people, nominees, that have applied for the Superior, the District, you know, all of the courts. That's not what we need. We need people on the District Court who know how to deal with I was going to say 209A, but that's a restraining order. All of these things that come up in people's lives, that's the people's court, you know? And the appeals court is something else. The SJC, highest court in Massachusetts. You want the most qualified, the most experienced. And I have voted for all of those people, making history. And also, we've got 5 women now, and I didn't vote to get 5 women, but that's historic too. But I think, you know, all of that is so important to know the right fit. And do they have the experience? Do they have criminal? Do they have civil? You know, all of that, it depends on what court they're going through, how they feel on sentencing, all of those questions that I will ask, you know, how they feel about lobby conferences, all of these things enter into it. So I have that knowledge to ask the right questions so that I know this person is definitely qualified. But apart from that, I want this person to be compassionate and caring, to have the right temperament, and also to respect everyone that comes into that court and the people that work in the court. That's what I look for. And that's why I talk to everybody, people that have worked with this person, people in his background.
Thank you.
Anything. Yeah.
Thank you for that answer. And now, final question is, if you can give us one example of an issue that you and your opponent agree on, as well as a couple of examples of issues that on which you differ.
But there's no issues. What issues would there be in the Governance Council? I vote for people.
Right.
I
Just
vote for
questions
people.
About how.
I mean, if I was a legislator, then he could ask, why did I vote on, you know, why did I vote this particular thing? Why did I vote for gun control? I don't vote on issues. And you're asking about issues. We have no issues. We are charged to vote for people on the boards I've mentioned, judges, clerk magistrates, and it is a lot because we don't have aides. We do not have vacation. No vacation, and we're there 12 months a year. We have 6 this month, in July as we have in December. Legislators are on vacation. We have no vacation. And so it's as much as you want to give, and I give my all, and it's 100% with me. But there are no issues. We don't vote on laws. We don't vote on issues. We vote on people, and that's being kind of I don't know, kind of misrepresented because we can't go in there and discuss. For example, you know, I have a personal feeling that judges should have some review instead of going till they're 7 years old. I can't go in there and say, hey, you know what, I want to discuss this because it's legislative. We only vote on people. I can't change laws. I can't do that, and we can't discuss it. We only charge to talk about the people that we're voting on. And that's what's being misrepresented. And I hope I get that point out.
Yeah, and thanks for clarifying that.
No,
clearly,
there's no issues. Yeah.
We do get the point now, at least.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
No, but, you know, they think we're legislators, and we're not. And I get calls from people, you know, to vote for this or vote for that, gun control or whatever, and I said,
we're going to move on to your closing statement now. And you do have, Mrs. Devaney, 1 minute for a close.
Okay. I make every decision with my vote, always mindful what is best for the people of Massachusetts. And I'm proud of the votes that I've taken. On the Supreme Judicial Court, I have voted, and I've told you historically about the people that I have voted for. And they are outstanding justices. I have demonstrated a progressive, proven record of standing up, defending the rights of women, and I'm also on a committee for shared custody. And I have stood up publicly for these things, and I've been endorsed by the Bay State Stonewall Democrats continually. And and also standing up for disabled. I served 22 years on the Commission of Disability and got an award for that. And I was elected 15 terms on a council, elected city councilor in Watertown. And I'm proud of the endorsements. Congressman Capuano, Congressman McGovern, Congressman Lynch,
and
many others, many more.
We do want to thank Mrs. Devaney for participating in our conversation. Please make your voice count by voting at the state primary on September 9th. For Arlington Public News, this is James Milan. Thanks for joining us.